Focusing the Fire, Meditation and Concentration. Let us pause and consider the precious and powerful mind objectively. Make no mistake, as a modern-day citizen, your attention is the most valuable commodity in the world, and so many forces are vying for it. We must train the mind and not sell our mental life cheap. Everything we may claim to know, to contemplate, understand, experience, conclude, judge, ignore, desire, or avoid, one could assert has been arbitrated or even has been rendered by the mind and its senses' activity. Our perception of reality is completely framed by the constructs of the mind, yet the activity of the mind, being fed by our limited senses and feeling body, is like a wild horse. It's fast and powerful, moving so quickly that it mostly goes unnoticed. Have you ever said something like, he, she, or I lost my mind, or I'm just not myself today, or made a resolve not to have that second cup of coffee and ended up having 3, or other times made statements like, I am a peaceful person, or I am a spiritual person, or I have a temper. In the first sense, it is like the mind is something other than ourself. In the later statements, we seem to identify with the thought and emotional habits of the mind as the self. If we check our language, we will almost always be switching from these points of view. And I'm not going to suggest one or the other is wrong or better. It just reveals an ambiguity about the relationship of the mind to our sense of self, and also the potential of deeper rifts, of fragmentation and separation from a grounded experience of reality. For the purposes of purifying and training the mind, let us assert this, that you are not ultimately the mind, but instead the mind is your instrument, a tool for awakening to deeper truth and love. For me, this is and was a radical position and a freeing one. So like any implement, we must learn its nature and function before it can be utilized skillfully. And an important initial technique and power to develop in this process of knowing and channeling the mind's potential is concentration. As a spiritual activist, we no doubt have passion and fire in our heart. We must. And fire, when used with care, lights our path, warms our home, cooks our food. But misuse of fire and heat can be lost out drafty windows, burn our food, or burn down the house. So we must concentrate the fire. We can learn to take the floodlight of the mind's luminosity that can light an entire scene, but also be overwhelmed by it, and focus it like a laser beam, more precise. The value in this initial skill as a meditator are, we will learn to have real thought power that penetrates deeper into the mysteriousness of the mind's patterns without getting lost in them. That we will have a more established sense as the observer of a mind, rather than being tossed about by the movement of the mind like a stick in a rushing river. And we will be able to use affirmations and set intentions that actually take root in the mind. So the initiations for peace and liberation gain strength and habituation. Concentration is a preliminary and essential step to deeper states of meditative awareness. Without concentration, thoughts will not have much force or life to create real transformation. In this practice, we will use a series of observation anchors that move from a more vague or general awareness to a more concentrated focus. Naturally, the mind will wander. Thoughts and sensations of all kinds will come. That is why we call this practice. practicing this way for some time of holding the mind's focus in one place and bringing it back to this place when you notice it has become distracted will prepare and even induce the next stages of meditative awareness. Don't be rigid. Make friends with the process and bring the mind to a centered state slowly and methodically. In time, with less unconscious thought action on the surface of the mind, shored up by your ability to concentrate, you will naturally experience more peace, and this harmony and hub will join you in your work off the meditation seat and into your service in the world. In the beginning of learning the practice, the flame image in the video will suffice, but eventually you will arrange a candle, preferably a long tapered candle and candlestick as depicted, that you can bring to your eye level while you are in a comfortable seated position. The place where you are meditating should be clean and quiet as possible, and there should be no wind or breeze so the candle flame will not waver. Face north or east. Conduct this exercise consistently at dawn or dusk if possible. A cushion for sitting underneath your hips will increase your comfort and steadiness for the duration of the exercise. Now, let us focus the fire. Focusing the fire, meditation and concentration practice. Come into a comfortable cross-legged position. Close your eyes. Take a deep inhale through the nostrils and exhale slowly. Feel the weight of the body sitting on the floor. Make the spine tall and erect. Relax the shoulders. Head and neck in line with the spine. Let the crown of the head feel lifted and pulling the torso up tall, which is very helpful and important energetically for the flow of breath. Relaxing the shoulders, the chest is open. Take another deep inhale. And now, as you exhale, release unnecessary tension and find a good balance between the physical energy required to sit upright and aware while maintaining a comfortable level of relaxation and ease. Don't be tense. Make the body still and steady like a mountain, but natural. And as the body becomes more steady and still, let the mind also become steadier, calmer. Shift your attention from the body to the breath now. Take a deep inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. Continue to breathe rhythmically and deeply now. Bring as much of your attention as possible to the experience of breathing and breath only. Inhaling Om 1, Om 2, Om 3. Exhale Om 1, Om 2, Om 3. Inhaling Om 1, Om 2, Om 3. And exhaling Om 1, Om 2, Om 3. Inhale a deep, full breath and exhale slowly with control. Your awareness merging with the sensations of breath. A cool inhalation entering and filling the chest. A warm exhalation exiting the body. Deep, full, rhythmic breaths. Breathe. Follow your breath deeper inward. The body is still. The spine is tall. The mind is gathering itself as you observe the motions of the breath. As the mind becomes calmer, resting on its object of focus, the breath, this deep rhythmic breath will start to subside. Allow it. Let the rhythm become more natural, and then notice if the breath wants to become finer. Calm breath. The breath may become so refined that it seems almost imperceptible as the inhalation and exhalation equalize and the mind's atmosphere is very serene. And as the breath becomes slighter, the mind is also becoming more refined and calm. And now begin to shift the gathered focus of the mind. Gently, slowly, open the eyes. And with a wide-eyed, soft gaze, look deeply into the white of that candle flame. Holding your stare there for several moments. And then close your eyes. With the eyes shut gently, continue to visualize, as best as you can render, the flame you just observed. Holding this visualization as if it's glowing just between your eyebrows. Perhaps other images seem to be entering and interfering, or you may find that your image of the flame is faint or wavering. This is natural. The power we are developing to concentrate and visualize takes time. If you begin to lose focus, you can gently open the eyes once more. Place the gaze of the eyes at one point, the white, hot area of the candle flame. Holding the gaze steady, trying not to blink. The blink reflex will arise, even tears may come. Allow this, but effort to hold your gaze very steady. Now once more we close the eyes and continue to visualize the fire and light just between the eyebrows. This point the yogis call the third eye and center of intuition. With eyes closed, still, sense a luminosity emanating from this point. It can be helpful to repeat a sacred sound to hold your concentration while shoring up the mind from external and internal disruptions. Creating a mind that is steady and continual like a bright light instead of flickering. Begin to mentally repeat the sound Om, Om, Om. Holding your fire at the third eye, mentally repeating the sound Om with breath and body still and steady. No future planning, no memory, no past, just constant and attentive vision of light here, presently. Continue to practice in this way, pulling the mind back to the central point of concentration, gazing into the flame of the candle, clarifying the visualization, and repeating the vibration Om. Keep practicing in this way for some time now in silence. attention to the space and the physical body. Notice if the light and fire have in a way permeated the entire being, the whole space. Taking a few deep breaths, notice the steadiness of the mind and the peace that comes with this composure. Just notice. Notice the subtle effects and awareness. Even if there is some unrest or resistance, notice the quality of the observer witnessing this. Let us offer any insight or benefit of our practice today to inner and outer peace. Let us close this ritual practice together by bringing our palms together in a prayer position at the heart and chanting the sound of unity, Om, Shanti, Peace. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Peace, peace, peace.